Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and probably the most significant update we've had in relation to Raphael Varane. The next few hours being mentioned as a completion point for this deal, and Fabrizio Romano late last night giving a big update as well. I also want to talk about Raphael Varane in the sense of what we're actually getting, his injury record, and what basically is as a player, because I think sometimes you can say, oh, we're getting Raphael Varane and not actually look at, what's his injury record been like in the last 2 years? What are his strengths? What does he bring to the team other than being a world-class centre-back? But let's start off with the major update that's coming in. This is coming in from numerous areas, so I'm not going to shout anybody out other than the source here. It's at our Madridista Real. Very good source. I think most people close to Real Madrid would say that this is a tier 1 source, and they're saying it is a matter of hours before Manchester United and Real Madrid reach an agreement for the transfer of Varane to Manchester United. Varane is leaving, but he wants to do it in a pleasant way and be very grateful to Madrid. And I think that feeds in with respect. We spoke about that last night. We spoke about the fact that he wants to be respectful to Real Madrid, but this is going to happen. Also, Romano late last night saying that Real Madrid have been told by Raphael Varane and his agents that he wants to leave, and that he's happy to go to Real Madrid. That's a big step forward as well, because we'd had that lack of clarity around that. We knew that there was negotiations going on with Manchester United and Real Madrid, but we'd never had the whole Varane has told Real Madrid that he wants to go, and we got that late from Fabrizio Romano last night. Now the furtherance of this here is that there are two important things. First of all, Real Madrid have finally accepted that Varane wants to go, and they want to get this deal done as soon as possible. I wouldn't use the words accepted defeat. I don't think they want Raphael Varane to leave, but they've accepted that he's going to leave. They want to move on quickly. They want to get money in, and they want to move on. So that is why there is a speed to this deal, because I think one of the first things people would say is, why is this deal happening so quick? Can't we remember fax machines and everything with Real Madrid? Yeah, but that was a very, very different deal. Real Madrid have got no benefit in dragging this out into late August. They don't. They know Varane wants to go. They know he doesn't want to be at the club, and they know that they need to replace him, and they know that they need money themselves. So it's in Real Madrid's interest to get this done in a matter of hours or days themselves. And obviously it is in United and Varane's interest. So this deal will move very, very quickly. There is going to be no hold up in that sense. It doesn't make any party any better off for it to drag on. So that's the first bit. It's going to happen very, very quickly because Real Madrid want it to happen very, very quickly. They want to wash their hands of this and move on in a nice way. I mean, I don't think they're going to fall out with Varane. I just think it's like, let's get on with it. So that's generally across the Spanish papers, which is very important because obviously it's Real Madrid and it's Raphael Varane. And the second thing, Varane 50 million bid incoming. That is the bid that Manchester United want to put in. 50 million euros. 50 million euros is what Manchester United want to pay, which is about 42 million pounds. But the reason we've not put euros or pounds next to it is because it could well be 50 million pounds, which is heading up to 60 million euros. So we know this deal is going to happen for 50 million. We just don't know whether it's going to be for euros or for pounds. United trying to make it for euros to knock it down to 42 million pounds. Real Madrid more interested in making that 50 million pounds, which is nearly 60 million euros. So this is the final bit of the puzzle. This is where I suppose it's the final chapter of the story, and it's been a very quick read. I've got to say, it's been a very, very quick read. I'm very happy about this deal, and I think that regardless of what we think about the Glazers out, regardless of what we think about the board, incompetent, and regardless of what we think about the manager and the coaches, let's see, the reality is you can't just be a negative Neil all the time. Sometimes you've got to look at something and say that in the abundance of bad decisions that have been made at this football club over the last 8 years, there are going to be a few diamonds in the rough. And I think that this deal, Sancho as well, and there's been a couple of others, but this deal looks good. And what I like about this deal is that it's quick. It's a quick deal. We don't normally do these deals that quick. You say it's quick, maybe it's not that quick. Maybe if we hadn't bought Sancho, we'd have been talking about Varane for the last 8 weeks. Maybe the Sancho thing sort of covered up the work that has been done with Varane. What I do know about Varane and Manchester United is this isn't a deal that we started working on at the end of June when Sancho was more or less done. This is a deal that we've been working on for months and months and months. This has been going back to probably maybe even Christmas. And I'm not in the sense that we've been negotiating with Madrid, but in the sense that we've been sort of talking with Madrid, with Varane. He changed his agency around late last year, I think that's what Romano said. And I would suspect that United have been in conversations with Varane and certainly his agency for a long time. Hi Mark, please say happy birthday to my brother Ayub. Please call him a prat as well, says Kay. Happy birthday to Ayub. Looking at a lovely view in Cornwall, getting moaned at for listening to Varane move by the missus. She's going to have to go United first, says Sean Turner. And if Varane gets in, I would say it's been a good window till now, and it doesn't end here. CDM is a must. Varane deal, guess, will get over by today or tomorrow, says Anna. I mean, it's amazing to be saying that, isn't it? Absolutely amazing to be saying that. The headline really is that Varane to Manchester United to be resolved in the next few hours. This is coming from a very credible Spanish outlet, and I've always said that, haven't I? Look, well done to the Manchester Evening News, well done to Romano, well done to The Athletic, well done to all these other credible outlets out there, but for me this story was always focusing on the Spanish outlets. If you think it's silly around United, and it is silly, times it by 10 with Madrid and Barcelona. There are so many outlets, there are so many journalists, it's absolutely ridiculous. And there's been a couple of times in the last few years that I've focused in on this sort of Spanish press, and I think Ramos was one in 2015, obviously De Gea was another one, and there's been a couple of others, but this is the one where it's really been absolutely huge. And I think that with regards to that, my morning Mark, do you think Joe Ran is a better centre-back partnership with McGran, says Amit. But no, I do. I think that it's I think it's been a really interesting transfer story. It's not over yet, but the Spanish press have really been quite consistent from day one that that he wanted to go, and it never ever felt like that it was going to be that Sergio Ramos sort of fear deal. So yes, if you're joining in a little bit late, Varane to Manchester United imminent at this stage. Romano saying last night that Varane has told Real Madrid that he wants to go. And then this morning, very, very credible Spanish outlets saying that Real Madrid and Manchester United are expected to agree a deal in the next few hours. We believe that deal will be for 50 million. We just don't know whether it'll be 50 million euros. I hope it is, or 50 million pounds. 50 million pounds will be closer to 60 million euros. 50 million euros will knock it down to about 40 million pounds. If United can do it for 50 million euro, that's a fantastic deal as well. It really, really is. Mark, you said a couple of weeks ago that you challenged United to do this deal and you would applaud them. Do you see this as a change of policy, says Stephen Atkinson? I do challenge United to do this deal. And as I've said before, I will applaud this deal when it happens. In fact, I'll say it to you now. It's absolutely fantastic deal. And that leads into something I wanted to talk about, Varane. Because how many people watch Varane? Most of you will have seen Varane. You know what he is. But if I'd said to you at the start of the summer, we need a centre-back, and we'd listed 3 things that were important, I think speed, aerial ability, and technical ability would have been the 3 things that we were looking at. And ideally, experience, because, if you get speed, technical ability, and aerial ability in a 21-year-old, you're probably still going to pick Lindelof. If you get those 3 things in experience, they're coming straight into the team. A virtually impossible task, really, to go and get somebody that's better than Harry Maguire. And I'm not disrespecting Harry Maguire, but I think if you want to buy a player, you always want them to be better than what you've got. And our best centre-back's Harry Maguire. So ideally you want a centre-back that's better than Harry Maguire, who's fast, who's good in the air, and technically very, very good as well. Well, you've just described Rafael Varane. Welcome to the Members Club, Teeny. Perfect, absolutely perfect in relation to the recruitment. He's fast, he's good in the air, and he's very technical on the ball. He's been at Real Madrid for 10 years. He's won La Ligas, he's won Champions Leagues, he's won a World Cup. He's been Real Madrid's first choice centre-back for 10 years. A decade. There's no better CV. And he's only just 28. Like, he was only 28 in April. He's not like going to be 29 in November. He's only just 28. So, age, pedigree, ability, tick, tick, tick. On top of that, if you look at his injury record over the last 2 years, remember I always look at this, I said it about Cavani, very, very worried. Dembélé, if we'd bought him, terrible record. He may as well be sponsored by the NHS. But Well, he would be if he moved to the UK. The reality is Cavani's injury record is not great over the last 2 years. Loads and loads of muscle injuries, etc. Varane, over the last 2 years, has missed 3 weeks with 4 events, 2 of which were illness related. I think one was coronavirus and one was the flu. The other one was a knock and the other one was a muscle injury, and it was 3 weeks in total. So he's not got a bad injury record behind him either. So another tick in the box. Mark, I saw the Fools at ESPN with a 4-3-3 lineup the coming season with McTominay behind Cavani and Bruno to the right and Pogba to the left. Thoughts? Don't hold back, says Kimber. I think you've got it perfectly there, Kimber. ESPN just don't have a bloody clue most of the time. Excited to see what Varane brings to the younger players like Mangi and Axel. I don't think either of them will be there next year, NMCC. A centre-back who's won almost everything can only improve them, surely. I think his mentality will be key benefit for the whole squad. And also, hi Mark, what number do you think Varane will get, says Nicholas. Well, mate, I tell you what number he should be getting. He should be getting number 4. If we're going to be sentimental to Phil Jones about a number 4 shirt, you know, at the end of the day, it's about being ruthless. And I do like that point from NMCC as well. You know, we are getting a technical centre-back. We are getting a fast centre-back. We are getting a centre-back that's very good in the air. We are getting one of the best centre-backs in the world. We are getting an experienced centre-back. But we're also getting one of the most decorated players in our squad. In fact, I'd argue he is the most decorated. He will be. He will be. When he signs for United, he'll be the most successful player in our team. He's won more than anybody. Nobody can have won more than him. There can't be anybody in that team. No, there isn't. He'll be the most decorated player in our team. That comes with experience, beyond experience. That's winning experience. You can be 28 and you can be experienced. You know, Kieran Trippier's experienced, but what he's won compared to Varane is a joke. So, you know, and I know Trippier's just won La Liga, but, you know, Varane's got La Ligas, Champions League medals, World Cups, you know, unbelievable amount of quality there. A winning quality. I think Ollie is pinning everything on this deal. I also think Ben White would still be available if there was any chance of this breaking down, says Nick Pete. I don't want Ben White. Imagine this is the experience of the young United attackers coming against that solid United defence every day in training, says Steve. Yeah, you benefit for that as well. This is why Man City are such a good team. It's not about just beating Brighton with tiki-taka football. It's about training 5 days a week against each other. And, you know, the more quality players we've got in that squad, the better. And I actually think that this will be a massive, massive plus for Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's had a really good Euros, but I don't think he's United's best centre-back anymore. I think Varane is as soon as he signs. And I think everyone would agree with that. And therefore, the challenge for Maguire is to go with Varane, is to build a partnership there between 2 centre-backs. And maybe Maguire in a year or so could be better than Varane. You know, you just don't know. The challenge there. Look at Luke Shaw with Tellez. Maguire's got his own challenge now. You know, I think a lot of people think Maguire's it. You know, Maguire's sorted. He's absolutely fine. There was a lot of mistakes last season that were down to that centre-back pairing. And I think Maguire's the best centre-back that we've got. What if Maguire's going to go up gears now because he's got Varane next to him, like Luke Shaw did with Tellez, like Wan-Bissaka might do if we get a Trippier in. So it's very exciting to see how it's going to work out. So yes, just before I move on, Romano saying that Varane has told Madrid that he wants to go, and also from Madrid itself, this deal is expected to be done in the next few hours. Not necessarily official done, but like the agreement between the clubs. 50 million is the bid that will go in. We just don't know whether it's euros or pounds, because that's quite a big difference. If it's euros, bloody hell. If we can get Varane for 50 million euros, what a great deal that is. Absolutely brilliant. And I think that's what we should get him for, but you know, it might be a little bit more than that, to be honest. How many years do you think Varane's got left in the tank? I would say that Varane probably has got another... He's only just 28, so really, all next season he's 28, all next season after that he's 29, all next season after that he's 30, 31, he's got 5 years. 5 years easy at the top, because this season coming up is his 28 season. You know, I know he's 28 in April, but really most of next season he's 28 and he's 29, so he's got easily 5. Hi Mark, from Seattle in the USA, would you take Mariba next summer if he ran his contract down at Barca? Also excited for Varane and a new CDM, says Teeny. I think there are many players that will be running their contracts down in the future, and I think that'll be the new way of signing players. If we do get Varane, Sancho and a CDM, do you think we can challenge for the title, or do you think the team will need a little bit more like a striker, says JM? I don't like title talk. Yeah, I don't like 5 easy. A lot of people saying he could play for another 6 or 7 years. Yeah, easy. I mean, yeah, year 5 he'll be 32. So, yeah, he's got plenty of years left in the tank. He's an absolute steal at that price. If Varane comes in, will he be captain? Needs to be. No, he won't be the captain. Yeah, we don't. We won't get that. But, I mean, like Himanshu says, minimum 5 years, maximum 8 years. I mean, you're getting 5 years out of a player that's won everything and is experienced. And I mean, it's just a fantastic deal for United. It's absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely incredible, Mark. Absolutely fantastic. In fact, I feel like singing a classic Take That song. Could it be magic now? Come. Yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. But we've got to get it over the line, and there will be people out there that are worried that he's not holding up the shirt yet, and I get that. So you've got to be a little bit careful about it. But it's closer than close. It's closer than you can imagine. It's close, and yeah, he'd be a great signing. But just before we move on to the other stories, because there is a lot to talk about this morning, I do want to just say that the title talk is ridiculous talk. You know, you're talking about a team that's not won anything of note in years. And we've just bottled the Europa League final. And we've not been in a title challenge since we last won the title in 2013. So we're approaching a decade without a title. We can't just buy Sancho and Varane and say, we're going to win the league. Like, the plan is to be in a title race for as long as possible, longer than January. But to say we're going to win the title, I just think that sort of talk is massively naive. It could happen, but it's not something we should be expecting to happen. Title might still be a dream with the current midfield, but we need to beat the 80 points that Jose got, as that's the best we got since Sir Alex. And I would agree with that, Nicholas. I think points tally, let's get over 80 points and see where that gets us. And I also agree with you as well. I still don't think, I've said it for the last 2 years, you can't win a title with Lindelof and Maguire. And there was people out there that were hoping that statement was going to come and bite me on the arse, but it never was. It was never going to happen. We were never going to win a title with Lindelof and Maguire, and we won't, because that's going to get broken up. I would also say we will never win a title with McTominay and Fred. So, you know, until he breaks that up, again, I can't see us getting near a title. Or a Champions League. I just don't think you can. Mark, what do you think of Lokonga? He's got more potential than Sancho, says Amy Assey. Oh, is this new signing that Arsenal have made that I've never heard of? I mean, I wish him all the best, but I've never heard of him, so can't really say much more about that Zayn, really, to be fair. Let's move on with some other news then. We've spoken about Varane there. Let's see what happens with Varane in the next few hours and days. I think by probably... I think the next 48 hours are going to be big on that one. Anurud says, Varane and Sancho announcement together, shockwave. A few people have said that. I don't know why United are still waiting on Sancho. Maybe they're going to wait for him to come back off his holiday now. You know, he's going to be on holiday for another week or two, isn't he? So maybe we're going to wait for that. I don't know. My mum just said, is a CDM a Cadbury's Dairy Milk, says Danny McGuinness. We could try a Cadbury's Dairy Milk in midfield. Some might say it'd do better, but you know, it's not the dream CDM. Definitely not. It might be for some people. What's happening with Camavinga, says Hader? Well, Camavinga update was last night, so Camavinga is basically let's wait and see with him. I would like to get Camavinga, but let's wait and see. Let's talk about what the French outlet L'Equipe is saying as well. They've said that in relation to PSG. Pogba, sorry, let me just read these super chats. Wayne Finnegan says, morning Mark, would you use Martial as part of a deal to bring in Declan Rice, buzzing for Varane? Can't happen, Wayne. I think when people start talking about these swap deals, what they don't realise is the wages. Anthony Martial's on 250 grand a week. People were talking about Martial for Harry Kane, but Martial is on 50 grand a week more than Harry Kane is at Spurs. Anthony Martial is probably easily on double any player that West Ham's on. So West Ham could never take Martial. Whether the swap deal works player for player, whether West Ham would like him, they just can't afford him. So those deals can't happen. You've always, when you're thinking about a swap deal, you've always got to think of the wages. And that's the big problem. Mohamed says, Maguire, Varane, Bruno, Pogba, Cavani, Sancho, look at the winning mentality in that team. All are serial winners. No, they're not, Mohamed. Maguire is not a serial winner. And neither is Bruno's not really a serial winner either. You know, a serial winner is somebody who's won things. I think what I would say is you've got leaders there. Maguire is a leader, Bruno is a leader, but Varane's a serial winner. definitely. We need Maguire and Bruno to be serial winners. They're not serial winners at the moment because what have they won? I've got that clip of Pogba chanting Champions League Varane playing on loop in my brain, says Joshua Bellwater. And hi Mark, what does Bruno stand for on your shirt? Looks nice. What does Bruno stand for on your shirt? Says Sam Hilson. Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, Portuguese Magnifico. Links in the video description if you want to get yours. Lots of t-shirts available and it's hot, hot, hot. So, L'Equipe are saying that PSG really do want to get hold of Paul Pogba. Pogba is tempted by this, but PSG may have to sell players to buy him. They're looking at about 50 million. I mean, look, this is a story. It's a news story. It's a news show in the morning. But I'll stick with what we said last night. Pogba stays. Pogba stays next season and runs his contract down. I don't think we're going to see Pogba going to PSG, but I think PSG do want to get Pogba, and I think Pogba is tempted by it, but not this summer, maybe next summer. So I don't think anything will happen with that. They also go on to say that Ronaldo, remember Cristiano Ronaldo? It's gone very, very quiet on him. I think maybe even a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, there was talk of Ronaldo definitely leaving Juventus and United or PSG being an option for Ronaldo. L'Equipe are saying that PSG and United interest in Ronaldo just hasn't materialised, and Ronaldo looks like he'll be staying at Juventus for another year. Shane says, do you think Varane coming could convince Pogba to stay? No, not really. Not in the sense the way that you probably want it to happen, Shane. He will stay this season, but I think he was always going to stay this season because I think he's going to run his contract down to make a lot of money next year. I think for Pogba, this is like, well, look, if this goes really well with United and then they offer me silly money, I will stay. If this goes really well with United and they don't offer me the money, I will go. If this season goes badly with United, I will go. So I think Pogba is just like, you know what, I'm staying for this year. I'm going to enjoy this year. There's new players coming in. Let's see what we can do. But ultimately, I'm probably going to go next summer when I can go anywhere I want for free. So I don't think Varane signing for United is going to make Pogba go, oh, where do I sign? Because he's going to do himself out of a load of money. United will maximum give Pogba 400 grand a week, which is too much anyway. Next summer, he'll be getting £500,000 a week because no one will have to pay his transfer fee. Remember a season or two ago, we were all claiming Maguire is not a captain or a leader. We were all wrong, says Tyler. I don't think everybody was saying that, Tyler. I was, but I don't think everyone was. Stephen says, Sancho, Varane, Pogba staying in any capacity and Camavinga hands us the title. No, Stephen. Why do you have to do that as a United fan? Why do you have to go from one extreme to another? Why do you have to say that if we get Varane, Sancho, Pogba stays and Camavinga comes in, we're winning the title? I mean, it's just it's so speculative. In fact, it's bullshit. Like, it doesn't do anybody any favours and it makes yourself look silly. You know, it totally disrespects what Tuchel's done at Chelsea in the short period of time, and they will buy. It totally disrespects how good Man City and Liverpool have been over the last 3 years. The relentless nature that sometimes to win a Premier League title at the moment, you've got to go 90 points. Like, the only reason Man City didn't push for 100 points this season is because no one pushed them for the bloody title. I just think people don't understand how difficult it is to win a league title now. It's not just about Sancho, Varane, Pogba staying in Camavinga. It's about being able to go toe-to-toe with teams that won't lose a game from January to the end of the season if you push them. Look at Liverpool and Man City when they pushed each other. It was ridiculously fine margins. They're knocking nearly 100 points each. Do you think United can get over 90 points? I don't think we can. And I think that's what you're going to have to do. So I think title talk, we could win a title next year. I'm not saying it's impossible. But to start talking about titles just because we've made a couple of signings is ridiculous. Is the midfield anywhere near good enough for us to win a title? Not on last season's form. Have we got the consistency to go and do this? Have we been in a title race? Have we got the capability not to drop silly points to teams like, Wolves and everybody else? No, I don't think we have. So I think, look, there's nothing wrong with being positive, and I will applaud the signing of Varane very loudly. I think it's a great signing. But to talk about being a title contender, I don't think that helps us. I think we've got to keep it on the low down. I think we've just got to see what we can do. But there's no doubt about it that someone like Raphael Varane brings in a mentality that, he's here to win things. I don't think he wants to win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, however many La Ligas he's won, a World Cup, and come to United at 28 and then win nothing but a Carabao Cup in the next 5 years. So it's an encouraging signing, but we've got to build on that. Okay, Mark, I'm Ollie Doubt, but with the squad he is amassing, if he does not succeed this season, it is inevitable that he has to be Ollie out. Stephen Atkinson, I don't know how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can fail, because I think you've got to finish outside the top 4 to get sacked. How do you finish outside the top 4 with that team? I don't think any of us could finish outside the top 4 with that team. It's too good. It's probably the best squad of players we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. That squad of players has got so much talent in it. I don't see. I think if you're an Ollie outer, you're going to be disappointed, because I don't think that. I just don't see how you can fail. I don't see us. All right, we might not win a league. The football might not be good, but there's too much talent there. He'll finish 3rd or 4th, regardless of how good a season we have. Hopefully a lot better. Any chance the Vinicius rumours are true? Best mate Doug's a prat, says Mike John. No, I hope that the Vinicius Junior things are not true. Don't really want him at the club. Don't really need him. Also, a couple of updates as well. Danny Ings, this is via TalkSport, so take it with a pinch of salt. We've got to win a trophy. I agree with Zed Jamie. You have to say that we are title contenders if we also get a CDM. We still aren't the favourites, but we should be competing for it and win a trophy, says Gustav. I don't have to say that. You can say that, Gustav. I'm not going to say we're title contenders, because I don't think people really understand that you've got to hit over 90 points. We had a good season last year and we got, 74? You want another 16 points on top of that. I think to win the title, you've got to get over 90 points. I don't think we are a title contender. I think we've got to hang near the top as long as we can, but a title contender is 90 points. I think people are just getting too excited, which I totally understand, but I'm realistic. We need to buy a midfielder, and then you've got to get everyone to gel. And you've got to be consistent. And consistency has been a problem for us. But look, if you think we're going to win the title, fantastic. Gurjat, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. So Danny Ings wants to come to Manchester United. This is the next thing I wanted to talk about. I don't know what people think about Danny Ings. I think he's a very good striker and I think he's done a good job. But for me, what is this about? Danny Ings, Southampton striker, scored a few goals. Why would we buy him? Why would we bring him to United? Stick him on the bench, might come off the bench and score a few goals. Is that what we've got? Is that not what we've got Martial and Greenwood for? Is that not why we've got people like Charlie McNeil and Joe Hugel maybe coming through as well? I don't think, and regardless of the Liverpool guys thing which Alex says, I don't think Danny Ings really adds anything to Manchester United that excites me. I mean, I don't think he's a bad player, but if we brought him in, I'd be like, especially after you bring the quality of Sancho and Varane in, and I think that what I would say about that is that those two players there, I've said this before, if you want to close a gap on Man City, you've got to buy players that Man City would want. Sancho and Varane, whether Pep wants them or not, they are the quality of players that would go into a Man City squad. Definitely, probably their first team, but certainly their squad, and they've got a great squad, and Chelsea. So Varane and Sancho are superb signings because everybody in Europe would want those two players. Would everybody in Europe want Danny Ings? And I think this is where United have got to be very, very careful from now on. Bring in the quality of player that is going to make your rivals want them. And that's how you close a gap. You've got to buy what everybody else would want. You can't just buy Fred and, players like that, because you need to buy the best. And I don't think Danny Ings is that. If we aren't in a title race in that scenario, that's not on the team. It would be failure on the manager and coaching staff, in my opinion. Well, Gustav, I just think you've made your point. Fair play, but you're asking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to go and get 90 points just because he's bought Sancho and Varane. I don't think that is nailed on. I don't think you can sit there and say he's got to get over 90 points now that he's got Varane and Sancho. It might happen, but we might get 85 points. We might get 83 points, and that might still be really good football. So I'd just be very careful about what your expectations are this season. I saw this happen 5 years ago. Mourinho came in, we got Pogba and Zlatan, and everyone was like, Mourinho wins titles, Pogba's world class, Zlatan's world class, we're going to win the league. And we didn't. For me, this is a patience game. Let's see how we start the season. Let's see where we are at Christmas. Let's see where we are in February. Let's see where we are in April. Let's not run away with ourselves. Don't need Vinicius Jr. Isn't Rashford due to go under the knife, says Mike John. Apparently not. We don't know whether he is going to go under the knife yet or not. Donny van der Beek. Mundo Deportivo, which is a Spanish outlet, I think it's close to Barcelona, they're saying that Barcelona want Donny van de Beek on a loan deal. All I'm going to keep saying about this is I don't want to know about Donny van de Beek leaving Manchester United. And you can buy all the good players that you want, and I will not accept selling Donny van de Beek or loaning Donny van de Beek. It would be an absolute joke, and it would make me very concerned about our coaches if they let a player like that go because they don't know what to do with him. It shows a limitation that Manchester United coaching staff should not have. We should not be able to not use a player like Donny van de Beek, who is a technically good footballer. And if we can't use him because we want to use McTominay and Fred, who are not technically good footballers, that is a real indication that our coaches are not up to scratch. So for me, it's not even about Donny van de Beek at the moment. It's about you're going to let a player go after a year because you don't know how to implement him into a football team. And that's a failure. That is a failure to not be able to put Donny van de Beek into a United team, because he is a highly technical player who can pass well, who can press well, who is tenacious, and would suit Manchester United perfectly if we had the coaching staff who can actually implement him into our system. And if they can't do that because they have to play people like Fred, who basically you just tell them to go and run around a lot and keep their position, then that to me would be a real shame. FM John says 21 incoming. Look, run away with yourselves. Get very excited, but you'll be disappointed. You'll be very disappointed if it doesn't happen. And I think expectations need to be, last year we were last 2 years, 3rd place and semi-final of the Europa League. Last year, 2nd place and final of the Europa League. This year, you want to be 1st place and win the Premier League? I don't know. I feel that next season would be a success if we went to, say, the semi-finals of the Champions League and we stayed in a title race until April. I think that would be a success, and over 80 points. To win the title, I think you're going to have to go over 90 points, and I think that's a big ask. And I think we should be asking for it, but it's very big to ask that when there's so much uncertainty about the midfield. And games are won and lost in the midfield. They're not won and lost on the right wing, and they're not won and lost in the centre-back positions. They are won and lost in the midfield in the majority. And people will say, well, a clean sheet wins you a game. Well, the midfield is where the action is. If you get hold of the midfield, you get hold of the possession, you get hold of the chance creation. The midfield is where I worry about United. And at the moment, that is an area that's not been improved on. It can be improved by pulling Pogba in there. We didn't do that last year. But for me, centre defensive midfielder is absolutely essential. Mark, what do you think about Dave Cristiano swap, says Gerjot? Absolutely no chance that will happen. The goalkeeping situation is a frustration, but I don't think we'll do anything with it. Varane is a winner, says Jab S. So yeah, just go back to Varane. At the start of the video, we said that Romano has said that Varane has informed Real Madrid that he wants to go. Real Madrid are now resigned to the fact that he wants to go, and they want to get the deal done very quickly. A very good outlet in Spain are saying that Madrid and Manchester United will finalise this deal over the next few hours and reach an agreement, and that agreement will be for €50 million or £50 million, which is different. €50 million is about £40 million. £50 million is about €60 million. It's all about agreement on the fee now. Real Madrid want this done very quickly because they want to move on, and Varane and United want it done quickly as well. So this is not going to drag on. It's going to happen very quickly. It could be announced. We could get a here we go today. We could get it tomorrow. We could get it Thursday. We could get it Friday. But I think it's going to be this week. And I think that's why when we spoke to Romano yesterday, he was so happy and excited, because I think he knows that this is the week for it to happen. And if you've not watched the Romano interview on the channel, you can check it out on the home page. Thanks everyone for watching. It's hot. And I really appreciate everyone tuning in again. 10 o'clock every morning, of course. Hi Mark, I was contemplating on signing Kimmich if Pogba leaves next season. In my opinion, he would be a plus, says Emmanuel. Well, Emmanuel, it's great that you're contemplating signing Kimmich, but I think you're probably going to buy one of the best CDMs in the world there, and I think it's a very hard deal to do. I think he's very happy at Bayern Munich, but I would love him at United, definitely, yeah. Please smash a like on the video, everybody. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You'll want the notification on for when we go live for the Varane Here We Go. Could be today. Fantastic show. Thank you, Michael Jones, who says it was a good show. It has been a good show. It's an exciting time, and I'm getting ready to applaud United on a fantastic signing. Varane, only just 28, no injury record over the last 2 years, won it all, comes in as our most decorated player. We get Varane, he's won more than anybody in our team. He's probably won more than everybody combined in our team. I don't know quite about that, but he's won a hell of a lot. 28 years of age. What a player. What a signing. Let's bring it home. Thanks for watching.